Okay, like, what defines your great year? Like, because if that's the case, then every year should have been a great year. Hello, my lovely babes. How are y'all doing? I hope y'all are doing great. Welcome to my channel. If you are new, if you're returning, welcome back. My name is Honor Turner, the co-host of Always Something and owner of Spa Day Pantalon. I am so happy to be uploading this video. If you guys don't know from the title, it is how to manifest a good 2021 and just manifestation as a whole. I'm so excited to get into this topic because I feel like manifestation has gotten so, what's the word that I'm looking for? Popular, I guess you can say, within the past few years. And I feel like we have let manifestation stress us out. I feel like we've been manifesting stress. So I'm so happy to just be getting into it because I want y'all to have a good year. Like when I look back at my years, I feel like it's been I honestly truly can't say that I've had a super crappy year. So I feel as though like I just mentioned, a lot of people are like I said, manifestation has gotten really popular. And I feel like we've just kind of gone about it in the wrong way, where people are like, oh, I'm manifesting positive vibes. And it's like, you have to put positive vibes in the atmosphere in order to receive birds of a feather flock together. If you're not around, I don't know, some of y'all have not listened to my podcast. If you haven't, definitely go listen to it. Again, it's called Always Something. There's an episode on there where I talked about creating a positive atmosphere around you, creating positive vibes. So I don't want to beat a dead horse, but you're not going to create a positive atmosphere. You're not going to be in a positive atmosphere if you yourself are not a positive person. And the same thing happens when you're trying to manifest a good year. Um, and I feel as though people have been just going through, especially in 2020, we've just kind of been floating through life like a feather because of things that are going on around us. And I honestly truly can't say that I had a bad 2020. When I look back at my Snapchat flashbacks, I honestly truly feel like my 2020 was quite satisfying, to be honest. I created my goals and I achieved some of the goals. Granted, there's goals that in there I didn't achieve, but to let one or two goals put down the entire year is like, it's silly. It's like letting one bad seed ruin the entire tree. Last year, I bought my first car on my own. I got, I guess you could say, a big boy job or whatever. I traveled like I wanted to. I met a really good person and I grew closer with my friends, you know, all the things that I truly wanted to do. I started my podcast last year. All the things that pretty much I wanted to do, I did, but it's more than just speaking it into the atmosphere. And that is what I'm here to help y'all do, is not speak it into the atmosphere, but once it gets into the atmosphere, achieving the manifestation that you're actually wanting. When you're manifesting something, ladies, you're creating a goal. And I think that we forget that. I think goal has such a process to it, or maybe we just don't know how to actually create goals because we weren't taught that in elementary school and middle school and high school, creating goals. Instead, we were taught what goals were and the different types of goals, instead of that there's more than just long-term goals and there's more than short-term goals. Especially for me, when I'm creating my goals throughout the year, I create a long-term goal, I create a short-term goal, and I create goals that I can just do throughout the months. I create month goals as well, daily goals. I have so many different things that I create, y'all. But I create goals that are gonna make me feel good about myself, which that sounds so conceited, but we're all human and we get sad. And so I'm a man of progression. So when I achieve one of these goals, as a human, we're gonna get the satisfaction from that, and that is going to then increase your mood. So in high school, middle school, and elementary school, they don't teach you about these things. They just tell you create goals and hope that you figure it out, which that's dumb. So I'm here to help y'all create real goals. When you're manifesting a good year, you have to understand what it is that you are wanting to manifest. So, what does your good year look like? And that is where you create your goal in a sense. So, my good year, like I said, it looked like I wanted to buy a car. I got back from North Dakota and I had already made it up in my mind that I was going to buy a car. My dad wanted me to buy a cash car. I said no. I went to the dealership. I had my money down, I had saved all of this, and I knew what I wanted when I got there. Did I leave with that car? No, but I knew that I wanted to get a car, so I bought one. Um, and I, you know, because of that, I was able to get around, I was able to get the job that I had got, and I was able to live my life and achieve more of my other goals. I knew that I was going to quit the job that I was working at when I got back, and I did, and it's progressively gotten better over and over. So you have to understand what it is that you want. So if I wanted a car, then I have to figure out, I have to put that plan of action like, okay, I'm gonna need to have money down because I don't have any type of credit. I'm gonna need to make sure that I have a job and that I've been at this job for a while and that I have references. I research the dealership, I research everything pretty much, the car itself, so that when I got there, I knew that I was capable of doing all of these things so that I'm not looking like Bobo the Fool. So once you understand what it is that you want to do, once you understand what your good year looks like for 2021, my good year looks like I want to expand on friendships. I want to travel. I want to I wanted to get on YouTube again, and that is my good year. I feel like people get into, oh, well, my good year consists of just smiling, laughter, and yada yada yada, and it's like, y'all, this isn't Mary Poppins. Like, you need to have, it's not going to be, all sunshines and smiles and rainbows. Like, that's life. You're going to have your downs, you're going to have your ups, and you have to understand that. So once you create your goals for the year and spread them out, don't just have all your goals in January, don't just have all your goals in March. You need to have, a goal here and there. That way it's like, okay, I'm giving myself a timeline, something to look forward to. You can't have the cake and eat it too. And I feel like that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to run a marathon but finish it in 10 seconds, and that's not how that works. And I'm preaching to the choir ladies, because I do the same thing where I'm working on my company and I'm like,
gosh, like, why am I not seeing the funds right now? And it's like,
you're not going to see the funds right now because you haven't even released the product, and it gets frustrating, but you have to understand that there's a process behind it. And so speaking of process, you have to get into step number 2. So step number 2 kind of goes into understanding, which is creating your goals. So I told y'all my goals. Create your goals, pause the video, whatever it is that you need to do. Make sure you subscribe if you're not always already subscribed, and like the video. But from there, after creating your goals, then you need to create your plan of action. And I think that this is where we go so far south. When you're creating your plan of action, people, like I said, people create their goals and it's like, okay, now that I have these goals, then I'm just gonna figure it out. Like if I were just like, I'm gonna go buy a car, and then I go get to the car dealership and they're like, well, do you have money down? Do you have credit? Do you have a job? And I'm like, no. And it's like, well, sir, you don't have a car. You have to create a plan of action. And I feel like people don't do that. You manifest. You're like, well, I'm gonna go get a car, and now you're there, and it's like you're fucking sitting. You're not like. I feel like we get into manifesting. It's like, I'm going to manifest, getting a car. And it's like, here I am with nothing in, like, it's not going to happen. So you need to create this plan of action. What is it that you're going to do? If getting your car is your goal for 2021, then how are you going to get there? How are you going to save up your money? Are you going to have a co-signer if you need one? Because sometimes having money down isn't going to help you, especially if you don't have good credit already. And then going from there, going to get the car, where are you going to get it from? How are you going to get there? This, that, and the other, yada, yada, yada. And then you move on to your next goal, and then you move on to your next goal. That way, when you're going through, not only are you looking forward to your goals getting done and achieved, you also have things that you are having to do throughout your daily life to get there. You're having something to look forward to, but you're also having a reason to live day by day. And I feel like because we don't have those, that is a reason to live, like an actual reason for ourselves, then not to sound depressive or anything, but it's honest. I feel like so many people get into life and it's like, I'm just living day by day because of my parents or because of this. And once you actually start creating yourself a goal and working towards that, then you realize like, okay, like now there's something that I actually want to do. This is something for me. And so like brings us into our next step. Our next step, which is reminders/resets. When you're going through, like I said, we're all human. I do it all the time. The amount of times I just said it, how I'm like, why isn't my company going? Why have I not seen a single cent for my company? Or even with YouTube, where it's like, why am I not already at 3,000 subscribers? Which if you aren't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Always something in my podcast, I'm just like, why am I not, you have to remind yourself that it is a process and that it takes time. But once you remind yourself, reset yourself, figure out, because sometimes it does take shifting some things to get to that goal. So if it goes, okay, it's time for me to have this car, and I get there and they're like, well, hey, I'm sorry, we can't get you approved for this car because of XYZ. Maybe it's you don't have enough money down. Maybe it's, you need a better job or something. Then you have to remind yourself, don't let yourself, yes, get upset. We're human, we're gonna get upset. But don't let being upset don't let being upset pretty much get you to the point where you're not gonna do. I have the saying, if you don't do, then you won't do. And if you won't do, or no, you can't do what you won't do. You won't do what you don't do. And if you don't do, then what? And that is a saying that I live by. I feel like we get so caught up in, well, I'm not, I don't have my own company. And it's like, well, what are you doing to get there? It's, oh, Susie, Sally, and Jake are already, in school. They're already with their degree and this, that, and the other. And it's like, okay, well, that can be you. You can have your degree in 4 years. But if you're not actively working on trying to get there, then you're not going to get there. And that's your can't do, not doing. And if you don't do, then you don't do. So you need to create your reminders, whether it be on your phone or telling someone your accountability, telling someone, hey, this is my goal. I tell my friends my goals the majority of the time, where I'm like, this is what I'm gonna do, so that they can remind you, like, well, hey, like, if it's a car and you're spending your money and your friends are like, well, wait a minute now, I know that we're supposed to be saving, and you're like, well, yeah, I have this, that, and the other put away, and you're like, okay, good. But if you're getting ready to swipe that card and they're like, whoa, and you're like, oh, you're right, you're not gonna swipe that card. And if you do, then you have to understand that you are pushing yourself one further away from getting to your goal. And that is why you need to have a plan of action. If you don't create the first 3 steps to get to step 4, then you have to have a strong foundation in order to build a house. And reset. Meditate. Whatever it takes for you to reset, to replenish, then do that. Me, it's meditation. It's going out with friends. It's, taking a bath, making my spa day. I'm resetting so that I'm not killing myself over and over again. Because let's be honest, living sometimes can be exhausting. And if you're not resetting, then it's always going to be exhausting and it's not going to be fun. And that's how you create a crappy year. And after you do all that, then you achieve your goal. And bam. Now you're manifesting, but you're doing. So when it comes time for your yearly flashback and it's like, okay, I got my car, I expanded on good friendships, I got a good job, and I opened, I created my podcast and everything, and you look back and it's like, okay, we were in the middle of a doggone panoramic, and here I am still able to say 2020 is a good year. Why? Because I made it a good year. I put it in the atmosphere that it was going to be a good year. I did the things that I wanted to do. How? Because I used the 5 steps that I was taught to do. I feel like we get so caught up in working smarter and not working harder, and we forget that you still have to work. Manifesting, we were just like, I'm just gonna manifest getting a new car, and it's like, maybe I open my blinds and my brand new car is gonna be out there, but that's not how that works, y'all. Like, you're going to have to not only put in work to get the car, but you're also gonna have to put in work to attain the car. Like, you don't understand how expensive having a car is. It's like, now you can put all this money down on the car and you're still making payments on the car, and you're still having to do your oil changes, you're still having to do this, that, and the other. And now you're upset because it's like, well, wait, I thought that this is going to be easy. And it's like, no, this is what you wanted. But if you're not understanding that this is what you want, then that's where you create that problem. That's where you create your unhappiness, your uncertainty. And again, it goes back to making sure that all 4 steps are done properly and correctly. And if they're not, then your manifestation, once you get it, if you do get it, you're not going to be satisfied. You're not going to be as satisfied as you could have been or would have been. So, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I was super happy to create this video. I feel like it's something that so many of us have been going through, and no one has been explaining to us that, hey, you can't just speak it into the atmosphere. Like, that drives me up the wall when people are like, I'm speaking it into the atmosphere, I'm speaking it into existence, that I'm going to have a great year. And it's like, okay, like, what defines your great year? Like, because if that's the case, then every year should have been a great year. I feel like last year we let the pandemic get so far in our way. It was like, and that's not to say, I was furloughed from my job, but I made the most out of it. I went on walks with one of the people that I met at my job, which I'm sure I wasn't supposed to be doing, but, and I took time to find myself, and I created my podcast from that, and I grew closer to my family, I still traveled in the beginning of the year, and I did buy my car. Like, there's things that I did throughout the year that I really truly can't say that 2020 was a bad year, despite being in the middle of a panoramic. So, to me, I feel like we make excuses for ourselves. We manifest it, and we don't actually try to go and achieve it. So, if you have watched this video, and I hear that you're manifesting something, baby, you better be manifesting the right way. You better be using all 5 steps. I really hope y'all enjoyed this video. Thank y'all so much for coming. Again, if you are not subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button. All my social media is in the links down below. Hit the notification button as well so that you know when I upload. I do upload every week. And I hope to see y'all in the next video. Thank y'all so much, and enjoy the rest of your week.